Good afternoon or good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. My friend Gary Patterson is in the house, and as usual, so am I.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
We've got a whole bunch of things to talk about, so no more dilly-dallying. Have you made any New Year's resolutions?
Nothing of any substance, no.
Have you ever made them?
Yes, I have, and generally I didn't keep them. That's why I don't really know any substance anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I made my annual one.
Did you?
Yep.
Annual one?
Yep.
One, okay.
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
Usually it lasts about one day.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a ton of things to talk about, but of course, I've got a whole bunch of little tidbits, but I think maybe we're going to do something. We'll take that a little out of order. So, New Year's predictions for the Red Sox.
For the Red Sox, yes.
The Patriots, the Bruins, and the Celtics.
Okay.
So, go ahead. Red Sox.
Do you want to start with the Red Sox?
Yeah. Okay. What are they going to do this year?
I think they're going to be competitive, and they're going to make the playoffs. It's going to be a good division race, I think, with the Yankees.
It's going to be tougher.
Yeah, it's going to be tougher.
It's going to be tougher.
We'll see what happens. I think they're going to, I'll go out and say they're going to re-sign Kimbrel because the market he thought was there is not there.
You know what? How about this? If they do sign Kimbrel, he's going to be very disappointed in what he gets. He turned down the 17.9. Guess what? He is not going to get that from the Red Sox.
Right. But it's how many years, right? So
it's going to be 3 years, 15 mil.
At 15 mil? Yeah, I think he'll get a little more than that.
I don't. Well, okay. Now I happen to be a little tighter than you.
Yeah.
That's about what I'd offer him.
Well, I think it could be a fourth year attached, but a team buyout attached. So they could buy out of it for a number.
Yep.
So 3 guaranteed, a fourth,
sort of
with a buyout.
Okay. You know, that's reasonable. Boy, he's going to have to swallow a lot of pride to come back, I think. He's made too much of this stuff about.
And I'd even be willing to give him an opt-out after the second year.
Bingo.
If he wants to opt out after the second year.
As long as the Red Sox could opt out.
We can opt out of the fourth year.
Oh, we all opt out of the second?
Well, we'll guarantee 3.
Okay.
I would guarantee 3.
All right.
But he can opt out after 2. And we can opt into 4. Or there can be a vesting or something.
Some wiggle room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, if he's still good in year 3, he gets year 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And we're the ones that decide.
Right.
Not he.
Right.
Right. I think the Red Sox will probably win 104 games, 103 games.
Over, under 100?
Over.
Over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Barely.
Tampa's a better team
They
this
are.
year, and the Yankees are going to improve.
Yeah.
So maybe. So what did they end up with? 109?
The Sox?
Yeah.
Oh, it was even more. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I can see them losing half a dozen off that.
So 103?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
Probably the Patriots, we're going to leave them alone. We're still working our way through.
Yeah, okay.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute anyway. The Bruins.
The Bruins.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to do something. It's a tough situation now, right? The young players have been disappointing, I think, overall. They can skate, they can't score, And so they need to make a move, but you'd like to see a top 6 forward or a third line center.
Yeah, they don't grow on trees either.
I know they don't.
Yeah.
But the question is, if you could get one of those guys, are you really that much better? Do you become a legitimate contender? Because the defense has been good. Remarkable given the injuries they've had.
And the goaltending's not all bad.
And the goaltending's not bad and capable of getting hot, right?
That's right.
So do you think if you really could add a legitimate second line right wing or a legitimate third line center, you become a legitimate contender?
You know,
I don't know.
a guy.
Because you're going to have to pay for it. To your point.
There's no question they are, and it's going to and people are going to want draft choices and young players.
Yeah.
Combination.
Right.
I had an experience late in my life where a guy wanted to hire me. Now I sold control valves, technical stuff, engineered stuff, nuclear power plant stuff, not the stuff you find in a plumbing supply house.
Right.
A guy that owned a huge plumbing supply network wanted to hire me to teach his guys how to sell automated valves to end users. And I said, you can't do it. You got guys that are selling by the pound to plumbers.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Apples and oranges.
How the hell are you going to spec something like that, engineer something like that, and sell it to people that don't know what you're talking about? Or how about if you go into plants and try to sell it to people who don't know what the hell you're talking about? Again, because you don't know. So the Bruins could get a third line center, but if all they've got is two plumbers for right wing and left wing, it's going to be out there by himself.
Right.
Backus is all done. He's like being dead. He just doesn't know enough to lay down.
Yeah.
And the rest of them are
Dustin
a
Pedroia.
sorry bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backus is Dustin Pedroia of the Bruins.
Yeah.
They signed him to that contract when they didn't have to. And it's like,
the Bruins, with a little bad luck, could miss the playoffs.
They could.
Yep, I think so. How about if one of the goalies goes down and the other one has to play all the games and he doesn't feel well, and that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah.
That
said, Pasternak's a fun player to watch.
Pasternak is a fun player to watch. Brendan Carlo is fun but he's a defensive defenseman, but you can see him developing into something, And I love Grzelcyk.
Yeah. The defense has been good, amazingly, with all the injuries they've had.
Yeah, and especially when you figure your best defenseman is 41 years old and about as mobile as a totem pole.
Yeah,
but
he still makes an impact,
Still does. He still does. He cleans out the front of the net.
Yeah.
How about the Celtics? Did you watch the game last night?
I did. I did, yeah.
So you were lucky to see one of the good ones.
Yeah. But, I don't know what to say about them. First of all, last night, shame on Minnesota. How about showing up someday?
Well, they had two guys show up.
Yeah.
But,
I feel bad for Tom Thibodeau. That team's a dog.
Yeah, he was screaming after the second play. He was screaming.
He called the timeout with 1 minute gone. 1 minute into the game, he's calling timeout, screaming at them.
And Rozier looked great.
Yeah.
And for the second time this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good parts, but the chemistry is not there with this team yet.
And then,
at all.
How about Gordon Hayward?
Yeah.
He looked like, let's face it, he looked like one of the great scoring machines of all times last night.
He looked like what we thought we were getting.
14 for 18, yeah.
Yeah.
And passed the ball well.
Yeah. Well, last time he had a game like that was against Minnesota.
I know it was, the 30 points.
I kind of cast a glance at Minnesota at that point.
And your boy, Marcus.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. Love Marcus.
You got to love him after last night.
Yeah.
He's right back out there again.
I don't know if you watched the local or if you watched the ESPN broadcast.
The local.
Yeah. I was watching the ESPN because I like Jeff Van Gundy, and Jeff Van Gundy loves Marcus Smart.
Really?
He just loves Marcus Smart.
Marcus made
As do I. He's a tough little sucker.
Listen, I've said it before. I'll say it again, boy. If I was going down a dark alley at night, I'd want him with me.
Let's go, Marcus.
Yeah, you get in front, Marcus. Yeah. So what about the Celtics? You know what? You saw what Minnesota did last night with a big guy in the middle
Yeah,
that took the ball to the hoop.
yeah,
Celtics don't appear to have too many ways to stop that.
that's a problem.
And they don't have anybody else that can do it on their side either.
Yeah,
I don't see the Celtics going too far.
right. Well, Baines does help in that. And Baines is
does.
out, and
He does. And Tice, or Tice,
Tice.
Tice.
Yeah,
they are a good pair of bookends.
yeah.
One's in there, one's sitting on the bench. Vice versa. They play well. They complement each other very well.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to be enough to
Not this
pull
year.
it out. No.
Not this year.
No.
I think the team. I think Danny's got a lot of good pieces. I just don't think it fits.
They don't.
I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna win it this year, obviously. And I think they're gonna have to move some pieces and get some pieces.
Jaylen Brown?
Maybe. Isn't this? I mean, cut to the chase. Is Anthony Davis realistic, right? So, but he's either going here or he's going to the Lakers.
Or he's going to resign in New Orleans.
I don't think he's signing down there. They can pay him the most money.
They can pay him the most money, yeah.
But
and if his agent says, "Now, son,"
he
sit
came out
down.
last week and said legacy was more important than money.
Yeah.
And that organization.
I've said foolish things like that too in the past, but I always had my fingers crossed.
But he's a top 5 player in that league.
Oh, there is no question about that. Yeah.
And he's on a team that's going to miss the playoffs. They've got a top 5 player. They've had a top 5 player for the last 5 years. And they've been unable to put pieces around to even make the playoffs.
It's like people that buy
So
Dodge.
I think he's out of there.
It's like people that buy Dodge Vipers.
Yeah.
Their things are almost impossible to drive.
Yeah.
And so he's on a team that's almost impossible to help him.
So he's going to either the Lakers, where he bought a $7.5 million house in LA last summer,
That doesn't sound good, by the way.
or he may be interested in coming here because we've got the pieces to actually build a championship team around him. And we do. Mm-hmm. The question is, do you trust Danny Ainge to make those decisions? I do.
But is he going to be another odd piece that doesn't fit
No,
the puzzle?
if you watch the Celtics this year, one of the things that's, I think, striking is how they play better when people are out.
Yes.
Because they, last night there was a couple guys out. Horford was out. When everybody's healthy, they don't play well because they're disjointed. There's only so many minutes. There's only one ball.
There's only one ball.
They all want their shots. They
Yep.
all want their playing time.
Yep.
But when a couple of them are sitting out, they're actually better.
You're right. And
Even when it's Kyrie.
Rozier and Hayward last night.
Yeah.
I mean, there's perfect examples.
So it's almost a case where they could almost add by subtracting.
As crazy as that sounds, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that guy is one of those guys is Rozier,
Well, now,
and the other one is Jaylen Brown.
and
But the problem is their
You're right.
value has dipped since the offseason because neither one of them has really played very well this year.
Brown hasn't shot well.
No.
And Rozier just hasn't played well, period. But yet, when Rozier starts,
Right.
and somebody says to him, "You got to beat a man."
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
he can do it.
rises to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Van Gundy was talking about this on the national broadcast last night, that, he's a starting point guard in the league. There's a lot of starting point guards that aren't as good as Terry Rozier. He's not a starting point guard here
No,
because of Kyrie,
that's right.
but so he's gone. The next championship team is not going to have Terry Rozier on it.
Really?
I think,
What?
I wouldn't be shocked to see him traded at the
What
deadline.
if they trade Kyrie?
They're going to sign Kyrie, I hope.
What if he's the piece that's got to go?
I don't think so. He's a top 10 player.
All right.
He's
He is a
legit
top 10 player, but
10
you want a
player.
top 5 player.
Right.
You're not going to get it with marbles and.
So the good news on that front is in the last 2 weeks, Memphis and Sacramento have begun to lose.
Yeah.
As we sit here, they're both in the lottery. They're 12 and 13, but 2 weeks ago they were fourth in the Western Conference. So I believe Memphis has lost, I think 10 out of their last 13, something like that.
Yeah. Well,
so
if they get down in single digits,
if those picks are headed for single digits,
if they get down there, boy oh boy,
yeah,
then it's all of a sudden the picture's going
now
to
you
change.
pack. You know, if you're New Orleans and you know you're going to lose Davis, you can have him for one more year, but then you're going to lose him. So this offseason, and you got a package of Terry Rozier because he's restricted, so he would be a sign and trade. You got Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown. You've got, say it's the 7th pick in the
number
draft,
ones, yeah.
and the 10th pick in the draft. Yeah. And,
is anybody else going to be able to match that?
Yeah.
That's the question.
And do you want to? The other team is the Lakers. Mm-hmm. So can the Lakers really match that?
Probably not.
Right? They'd have to give up Brandon Ingram, but they don't have as many first-round picks. So I think the Celtics are in a good spot, but they're going to have to trade some people.
Yeah. Especially some of the ones that we've kind of fallen in love with.
And I think Danny wants to keep Marcus, and he wants to keep Tatum. And I think Brown and Rozier
wisely so
could go. The other guy that it would be nice to make part of that trade, even though he can opt out, is Al Horford, because you need the money.
Yeah.
Trading Rozier and Jaylen Brown and picks doesn't match the money.
No. So Horford may have to go.
Horford, but Horford can opt out of his contract for next year. But it's $31 million. I think
There's no way
nobody's going to pay him $31 million. But that doesn't mean he can't opt in and you can trade him. He can go down to New Orleans and play for 1 year. New Orleans would look at Al Horford as a guy to go ahead and, if they're rebuilding, trade him on because he'll be an expiring contract at $31 million. That's a valuable trade asset.
That is, in a year with Horford, could be great for the young players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I could see this thing.
All right, so the Patriots...
It's going to be next July 4th.
All right, so we need to look downstream. We need to look the year after this for the Celtics.
I think so.
The Bruins are even further
A couple of years away, yeah.
And the Red Sox...
still need a couple of these kids to come through.
Red Sox should be good.
They should.
Yeah. They should is right. They re-signed old friend Bryce Brents for the minor league system. How's it getting any better than that?
Nice. We'll probably see him before the year's out.
All right. So we've got the Pats sitting and watching the wild card round.
Yes.
So for the Patriots, I made a list of some of the things I think the Patriots have got to do here in the playoffs. Gronk has to be the real Gronk.
Yeah, I don't think he's capable of it anymore.
He had a nice run there that got called back.
Yeah.
He looked like the old Gronk steamrollering over people.
He's still a good blocker.
Yeah,
no question about that. He's still a very good blocker. But I don't think he can get separation down the field. People say, oh, well, they're double teaming him. He's been being double teamed for 10 years.
Of course
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Throw the ball high and let him jump. That beats the double team every time.
So hopefully they can work him in more.
Tom Brady needs to be Tom Brady, age 32. That ain't going to happen. I know that. And I think that Brady will win a game until he runs up against somebody like Baltimore that can rush the quarterback with lots of different sets. And then Tom is, he's immobile, and I think that will be it.
I think what they need is their offense to click, and that means Philip Dorsett has to catch 5 to 6 balls a game.
Look at this. I got to skip a line or two. Get Philip Dorsett more involved.
If we're going to be
the fastest guy on the team, along with Cordell Patterson.
Right.
and they must get. Now, is he related to you?
No, but I have his jersey. I wore it in Nashville.
And
that
Patterson must be 100%.
Yeah, hopefully he is. Hopefully he is.
Belichick and all his minions need to take a double handful of smart pills.
Yeah.
They got to come up with some game plans.
I agree. I mean, you know what? I was just going to say that this team right now in the offense going into the playoffs, if Josh McDaniels is what he's supposed to be, which is the best offensive coordinator, you know, he needs to do his job.
2 games ago, he wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, the offense at times has looked stagnant this year.
That Pittsburgh game, I still have nightmares about that.
Right. And, you know, and that means getting Philip Dorsett to catch 5 to 6 balls a game.
All he needs to do is be thrown at.
Right.
He's never been part of the game plan. What the heck?
But they also sometimes, you know, they jump around. Are they going to the run? Are they going to the pass? You know, it just seems the play calling has seemed a little
weak,
choppy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, sometimes it is head scratching to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, 3rd and 7. Oh, he runs it.
Yeah.
What? I mean,
because it's not at all beyond the pale that we could see the Ravens here.
And let me tell you something. I wouldn't look forward to seeing those clowns come to town.
Yeah.
They're just getting better as the season goes along.
Yes, they are.
And I'll tell you what, Belichick better burn the midnight oil figuring this one out.
And the quarterback, Jackson, he looks pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young quarterbacks in the league.
There's a ton of them. Last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Now, I'll skip my stuff now. I'll stop and go in a different direction.
Okay.
Is there enough veteran quarterbacks that have been deposed, that have been sat on the bench for young quarterbacks, for us to pick up a decent quarterback and bring him in with the idea that working with Belichick, he could take over from Brady?
Yeah, I don't know who that would be. Yeah, it'd have to be somebody fairly young. You know, once again, I think we've talked about this before. The one guy is Blake Bortles.
I know, and I tipped my hand on that one.
Bortles is that guy. He's young. Supposedly the Patriots loved him in the build-up to the draft.
He's tough as hell.
We've seen him play very well.
Yes, we have.
So we know he's capable of playing well. And then we've seen him just make some of the most ridiculous bonehead plays.
That's why if Josh...
So is it coaching?
If Josh stays, can we make Siamese twins out of him and Bortles?
Yeah.
And have him teach Bortles the Patriot way? And also, they got to work on his mechanics. Right. I mean, he's going to be able to deliver the ball on the money.
So the part of that answer, though, is, you know, is Bortles really going to be available? Because what's Jacksonville going to do?
I think so.
But what are they going to do?
Well, I think if you went to Tom Coughlin with, Tom, let's talk turkey here, buddy.
But who's going to be his quarterback next year?
That's it. You're going to have to draft somebody, or you're going to have to pick somebody up. But we want Bortles, and we'll make a package for you.
Yeah.
Because what else is he going to do with him? Nurse him along another year? The only reason Jacksonville would keep him is because they don't have another quarterback ready.
Right. But we need to get him on. He needs to be released.
Yes.
They don't want to take his contract. Didn't they extend him?
No, I think
he's still playing on his rookie contract.
Yeah, I think this is it.
If he's still on his rookie contract, maybe.
Well, I think. Let me amend that. I think next year he may still be. That may be the extension year for his rookie contract, and he may be playing for around 8 or 8.5.
Yeah.
Now, at that point in time, that's more than you want to spend for a backup quarterback. But if you're looking at him as a potential starter in a couple of years, might not be a bad investment.
Right.
When you figure what's going to cost you to draft a quarterback.
But they're going to want they're going to want him at $2 million or something.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
It's going to be hard to do.
That ain't going to happen.
Unless he gets released.
Although the Yankees got Tulo for $550,000.
Yeah, because he's still getting paid for 2 more years on his contract.
I know. But
Right.
you know what? That could turn out to be a good deal for the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the Yankees case, it could.
Boy, I'll tell you, if you were over to Plain Ridge, you'd say, hand me those dice. I'll
Yeah.
roll them on that boy.
Worst case scenario, Didi comes back and they end up trading him at the
Yeah, or
deadline
releasing him.
for some prospects.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back. You know,
Yeah.
He really hasn't done much the last couple of years. But
Now, of course, the other talked about, the other shoe to drop is Machado.
yeah,
Does this obviate the need for Machado? Do the Yankees say, you know what, we're fed up with Machado. We're not going to get involved in that song and dance. Let him take his idea for $33 million someplace else. We'll take Tulo and we'll, put this thing together with glue and paste and we'll hang on till Didi's ready.
you can't invest in Tulo. I mean, he's just broken.
No,
he's
but I'm
broken
saying,
down.
at worst comes to worst, they'll find somebody else to plug in the infield too, until Didi comes back.
Well, it's interesting because they had a rookie third baseman last year,
Mm-hmm.
and the kid looked like a good young player, right? I forget his name. You know who I'm talking
I know
about.
who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was a rookie, and he, playing in Yankee Stadium every night.
Yeah.
You know, not an easy thing.
But he's got,
And the kid was legit.
yeah,
Right?
fielding is probably the weak spot with him.
Yeah,
But he's a kid.
right.
Yeah.
So I know it's the Yankees. So I think Machado is a fit for them.
Yeah.
Play short till Didi comes back.
Then he's going to want to stay at short. And he's going to say, put Didi at third, not me.
And which is why they should talk about that right up front.
And he's
Say, this is what we're going to do, and here's
for a grown man, he's immature.
yeah.
And
He's only
no
26
one
years
will
old.
ever convince me that he didn't spike Pedroia on
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, he's a dirty player.
He's a dirty player, and he's known around the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no secret.
Right.
Yeah. More Michelle, less Burkhead. I want Sony Michelle carrying the ball more.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had Burkhead in there.
I think
in some
Michelle-
key situations I didn't really care for.
I think Michelle will be the lead in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's got to. By the way, the column of the week was 3 or 4 days before the Jets game. Ben Volen wrote a column, and the headline was, "Something clearly wrong with Brady." And his theory was there was a calf injury and that he just simply couldn't move. He was panicking under the rush and dumping the ball.
Huh.
And there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd that work out?
yeah, quarterbacks should be wrong, just like Brady was
Yeah.
against the Jets. Yeah, and Volen gets paid for the crap he writes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it's crap.
Wild card weekend.
Wild card weekend. Here we go.
Houston at home, 2-point favorite against Indianapolis.
I like Indy. I think Indy's a team nobody wants to play.
I said to myself, I'm going to write this down before Gary says it. Indy, we both got it.
Yeah. I think Indy's a sleeper here.
Yeah.
They're a serious football team.
They've become
Andrew Luck's playing well.
incrementally, piece by piece.
But they got that. I forget the kid, that rookie second round pick linebacker who led the league in tackles. The kid is all over the field. They got him in the second round.
Yeah, go figure, will you? I mean,
Strength of our team is offensive line. We drafted an offensive lineman in the first round. That kid was sitting there.
and the kid never played.
And but the point is, he's a phenomenal player. The entire league whiffed on him because, looking back, who wouldn't have picked him in the first round?
Hey, look, you know what? There's superstars in the second round and the
All
third
the time.
round and the fourth round every single year. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get a few this year.
Gee, wouldn't that be nice?
Get some picks.
Dallas at home, 1-point favorite against Seattle. And I'll tell you, in my heart, I hate both teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dallas at home.
Yeah, me too. Jeepers
Dallas at
creepers.
home. I mean, if it was in Seattle, I would be taking Seattle, no doubt.
Seattle
Dallas.
runs the ball well.
Yeah,
Very
they do
well.
a lot of things well.
Yeah.
They're better. They're much better than I thought they were.
But they're not a good road team.
Yeah.
Dallas. I'm 1 point favorite.
1 point
at home.
favorite. Yeah, I'll take Dallas at home.
Baltimore at home, 2.5 against the LA Chargers.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm really going to be rooting for the Chargers. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
going to be rooting for them so much. I'm calling they're going to win.
I'm going to take them too, but
We may be whistling by the graveyard.
yeah, I'm guessing though that there's, some of Baltimore's flaws are going to catch up with them in the playoffs.
Phillip Rivers.
The defense is very good, but
Rivers
it can
is a
also be beat.
good quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah. And let's
the
see.
Chargers' offensive line though is shaky, and that's a problem.
Their defense isn't bad though.
No, it's pretty good.
Yep. And my favorite game of the day, the one of the 4 games, this is the one I'm looking forward to. Chicago at home, 6-point favorites over Philly.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think Chicago's going to win the game, and I think Philly's going to cover the spread. I'll take Philly against the 6 points.
Okay, I put Chicago down already.
Yeah, I think Chicago's going to win. There's no question. But
I think they are the most, well, I think they're the most improved team.
absolutely,
Yeah.
they are. What a turnaround!
And they keep getting better.
Yeah,
And if Foles has cranky ribs, which he's supposed to have,
yeah,
this isn't going to work out well for
yeah. They better
Philadelphia.
try to protect them.
I can see a problem or two arising here, especially when he gets sat on.
Yeah,
You know.
the Eagles need good weather too. I think.
Yeah, and Chicago is the windy city,
Yeah.
and it's January.
So I do. I like the Bears to win the game, but at 6, I think if Philly covers the 6.
Okay, well, we agreed on everything except one game. We'll see how we do.
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross
Oh God.
fires coach Adam Gase,
Yeah.
or Gase,
Case. Yeah.
as the Dolphins missed the playoffs for the 15th time in the last 17 years.
Wow.
The new coach will be the 10th since 2004. Ross ordered a roster overhaul, and he acknowledged it may take several years to build a winner. Earlier this year, he stated he would no longer stand on the sidelines with the players and coaches any longer.
Well, thank goodness. They should ban them all from being down there.
The 10th coach in 15 years equals a tenure of 1.5 years on an average.
Yeah.
And finally, my last remark, what a nitwit Mr. Ross is.
Yeah.
First of all, for going...
excuse
bless
me.
you. First of all, for going down and parading around with the players, which
Yeah.
I think is stupid and
I
classless.
think the league should have an edict that the owners cannot go to the
That's right.
sidelines.
That's
you know?
exactly right.
Unless it's a championship level game.
Yeah. But firing 10 coaches since 2004,
Yeah.
or hiring 10 since 2004.
Yeah, he
Wow.
wants to be involved, and that's the problem.
Hey,
right?
we're losing one of the icons of sports. Passed away yesterday.
Okay.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh yeah, I saw that last night. Oh my goodness, Mean Gene. Yeah.
Yeah, and
A long and storied career.
what a guy.
Yeah.
Well, a few comments. here.
Okay.
Mike Tomlin and Antonio Brown. They're a lovely couple, aren't they?
They are.
They deserve each other.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they're going to solve it. I mean, Brown, could they trade him? They could, but they're going to have to eat a ton of money. They're going to have a ton of dead money.
And he's not attractive at this point, sitting games out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Didn't feel like
I mean, they
playing.
could. He's an extraordinary talent.
He
though.
is.
I mean, they could move him. You don't think the Jets would like to get him for Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jets would love to get him.
Yeah.
Sure.
So-
But They're not going to get a king's ransom.
No, they're going to get like a third-round pick or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. John Elway signs Chuck Pagano, his fourth coach in 6 years.
Did he sign him?
Yeah, you know what? He's indicated it's Chuck Pagano.
Oh, okay.
When will these clowns consider patience and continuity? Not Martin Lewis continuity, mind you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, what the hell does Elway expect?
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do, you know.
Okay, now you're the GM of the New York Giants. What do you do with Eli?
Oh, I try to trade him. You know, despite how great the guy was, Barkley, what a phenomenal young player and running back he is. I still believe the Jets made a mistake not getting a quarterback in that pick. They had the second pick in the draft. So Mayfield went first. A number of these kids, you know, take your pick. But they had Eli's replacement, and instead they took a great running back. Don't get me wrong.
No question.
A phenomenal running back. But when's the last time you won a Super Bowl with a phenomenal running back?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
But what do you do? Eli's owed $21 million.
Yeah.
That's a tough nut to crack. What are they going to do to trade Eli? I mean, they're going to pick up 2/3 of that?
At least.
Yeah. 3/4 of it?
Yeah.
And they'll get nothing back, a 7th-round draft choice.
Yeah, he's got 1 year left. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you probably bring him back.
And say to him, you're going to mentor this kid.
Well, yeah, if you have that kid.
Well, we're going to draft a kid. Got to do it.
This is not a good year for that.
No.
It's not deep.
But
they had their chance. That's my point. And they knew before the draft this year that next year's draft was not looking good at the quarterback position. Speaking of the quarterback position, have you seen the kid from the Clemson quarterback, the freshman with the long hair? Yeah, Lawrence, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He looks like the real deal.
Yeah.
So he's a freshman. I think you have to go 2 years in college, right? Because I'll tell you, if that kid could come out right now, I think he'd be the first pick in the draft. He'd be the first pick in the draft.
Yeah. Alabama's got a couple of quarterbacks.
Yeah, Tua.
Yeah.
Tua's.
And the other kid. The other kid, I think, is a junior or a senior. He may be in this year's draft.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's...
The kid from Oregon, Herbert said he's going back.
Yep.
It's not coming out.
You know, there's a lot of that stuff right now.
It's a weak quarterback draft.
Quite a few players are going back in.
Yeah.
So you know downright well if there was a quasi number one quarterback, he'd be coming out this year. But they're not. The Yankees signing Tulo.
Yeah, good move for them.
The talk shows.
What do you got to lose?
The talk shows were beautiful. The Red Sox will sleep at the switch. They really blew this. Why weren't they involved in it? Couldn't they afford $550,000? And
we've already got our over-the-hill, broken-down player trying to rehab in Pedroia. We've already got one of those.
We got another one, too, that's got knee problems. And
yeah. So
I mean, we get enough.
For them, it's fine. It was cheap. I am surprised somebody else didn't take a run at him.
I'm surprised the Red Sox didn't. But I don't think it's the catastrophe, the end of the world. So one clown I was listening to.
He doesn't. Where are we going to play him?
Well, bring him to spring training and see how it works out.
But with the Yankees, he's looking at a legitimate chance to play if he's healthy.
Yep.
And he claims to be healthy.
One of the talking brains on the call-in show said, "Did the Red Sox do their due diligence with Tulo?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like he even knows what due diligence means.
he had a workout for major league teams. The Red Sox were there.
The Red Sox were there.
They sent their people. So yes, they did.
Yep. And they didn't sign him. So
which I'm fine with.
They didn't see anything there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The face of the NHL, Alex Ovechkin, decided he wouldn't go to the All-Star game.
hadn't heard that.
He's going to rest up for the second half of the season.
Huh.
He along with Austin Matthews and probably McDavid, they are the faces of the NHL.
Yeah.
This idiot can't go to the game?
Yeah, he should.
Classless
I
individual.
mean, it's not like it's a real game.
No. Go out and skate around,
It's like playing pond hockey.
take some shots, and then tell the coach, leave me on the bench. The Red Sox re-signed Carson Smith.
I saw that.
I'm excited.
Well, you know what? It's like, I don't know what they paid him. I'm assuming not much.
Minor league deal.
Minor league deal.
Minor league deal, so minor league
Why
money.
not? Bring him to Fort Myers.
Sure.
See what he looks like.
$250 down
Because
in the
we
minors.
need some depth.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
The bullpen is not done. They're not done.
No, they're not done at all.
So David Robertson signed with the Phillies.
I didn't see that.
Yes. Just this morning, I think.
Oh, then that
So
makes
he's
the
off-
cheese more binding.
He's off the market.
Yeah.
So Miller's gone off the market.
Yep.
So it's coming down to, this is why I think eventually they're going to re-sign Kimbrel.
Well,
You know, supposedly, everybody's talking about Atlanta for Kimbrel. You can go back. They're saying no.
they get
Their
young
sources
players down there.
are saying no.
Mm.
They're not looking to bring in a $17 million a year closer.
Nope,
And they've got a very youthful group out there.
they do.
So I think Kimbrel ends back. So personally, I would love to see them sign Kimbrel and Britton here.
And,
Britton.
yeah,
Both of them.
well,
If we could somehow figure out how to get both of those guys, now I'm with you on your 103 wins.
I'd go back to 109.
Maybe
again.
back to 109, yeah.
I'm hoping for Zach Britton, but the longer this goes, I believe Britton's just sitting back in the weeds saying, "Oh, good, another
Yeah.
one off the market."
I mean,
I can just
the
jack
market's
my
just
price
not
up.
there
Yeah.
for Kimbrel. And he's a Scott Boras guy, right?
Yep.
Scott Boras.
Oh yes.
So wait and see.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come to Boston with his hat in his hand, Boris, and say, "Can we talk?"
No, I'm sure they're continuing to talk to him. He represents a bunch of players.
Oh yeah.
So they're, they're talking to the guy all the time.
Johnny Miller. You know
Yeah.
Johnny Miller, the sports reporter. He had quite a stroke.
Recently?
Yeah. On a plane ride out to Los Angeles.
Oh, dear.
And I guess
That's not
I guess he's in serious condition.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very...
And that is too bad, because he's a very courageous guy. And
Yeah, he had other earlier problems,
Yes,
I take it?
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
maybe. And it's affected us all.
You never see the guy, you just hear him when they do the
And
press
he's a normal
conferences.
looking guy.
Right?
No, he looks like a 65-year-old balding man.
Yeah.
You know, but it affected his voice.
Yeah.
Boston College did well. They went to the First Responders Bowl and played Boise State and had a thunderstorm, and that was the end of the game.
Went home.
Yep.
They were ahead, too.
Yeah, 7-0.
Yeah.
The number 53 choice in the 2017 hockey draft, Jack Studnicka of the Bruins organization, leads the OHL in scoring.
Is that right?
Yeah. Now, he may not now, because he went to the juniors championship.
Yeah, I was
they're
going to say,
playing
what's
up
his
there.
name?
Jack Studnicka.
Oh, okay.
And
I know that
the-
the Bruins had a number of kids in those championships.
The OHL
Yeah.
is probably the best of the three leagues up there. The Quebec League is lots of offense, and the Western Hockey League is pretty conservative stuff out there. But the OHL is where most of the good players go.
So he's a young kid.
Yeah,
He's
19.
19.
Yeah. Still trying to figure out how to grow into his body. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5".
So he's the latest prospect. So we got all these prospects.
Yeah.
And, we need a couple of them. So, in retrospect, we hoped one or two would emerge this year. Mm-hmm. That doesn't appear to be happening, quite frankly, right?
No, Jeremy Lazon, the defenseman, maybe the closest thing to a major leaguer out of the whole bunch of them.
We need a top six forward. We need a
so,
guy who can score 20,
Yeah, I think it's so many of these
goals.
plumbers on the third line, the fourth line, that their career high is 6 goals. And when you say, oh, you boy, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh McDaniel and Brian Flores have really generated some interest. Each one of them's got 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Interviews. Now, if McDaniel, if he is the highest paid coordinator in football, and he did sign a 5-year contract with the Patriots, wouldn't he have the decency to say, Mr. Kraft, I'm not going to go on any interviews. I've signed a contract with you. You've made me a hell of an offer. And we have a handshake deal, and I can't go on any interviews.
But you don't know what the deal is
don't.
between them.
Supposedly it's 5 years.
Right, but did Robert Kraft expect exclusivity? I don't know.
I don't know. But if it's true that he got $5 million a year, I would.
But that's something you talk about. Yeah. You talk about when you signed him last year, when you escorted him off the plane and signed him to this $5 million a year contract. They had to talk about this exact situation this year and next year. Of course people are going to come knocking on the door.
McDaniel betraying Kraft?
I don't think so, because I think they had an agreement.
Okay, there's something better comes along.
They had an understanding that, and maybe Josh had, a list of 4 or 5 teams. Well, not anybody, but if it's Green Bay or it's, the Giants or whoever. He had a list of 4 or 5 teams.
If it's the job of my dreams,
right,
I have the permission to walk. No hard feelings.
Right.
And Brian Flores, for a defensive coordinator without the title, is now the fact that he's black, I think, helps his case a lot.
Yeah.
5 black coaches got fired.
Yeah. Well, he's interviewing for head coaching.
Yes.
Because technically, he could leave for a defensive coordinator position, right? Because he's not a defensive coordinator.
That's right. They never gave him the title.
It would be a step up for him.
Yeah.
So he's a head coach candidate, but he's also, I think, a D coordinator type.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to pay, right? If they wanted to step up and pay him, $3.5, $4 million to come be our defensive coordinator versus making whatever he's making here, $1 million.
Yeah.
He could do it.
When we won the first Super Bowl, and both offensive and defensive coordinators left.
Right.
I mean, it was henny penny, the sky is falling.
Right.
First of all, the Patriots got along well without them.
They did fine.
And number 2, they both flopped.
Right.
Yeah. So a couple of articles have been written.
So Flores leaves, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, although...
the only thing with Josh is what does that mean about Brady, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
And Josh may be figuring, well, you know what? I'm going to go back and talk to Robert. And it was great. He paid me that $5 million last year and made me he's going to have to pay me $6.5 this year if he wants me to stay.
Yeah. Now, Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner, has tried to hire McDaniels before.
Yeah.
And that is the low-hanging fruit, either the Cleveland or the Green Bay job.
I think Cleveland's a better opportunity.
Oh, well.
First of all, because you got a lot of great young talent. You got a quarterback.
You got a franchise quarterback.
You got a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And if you happen, it's going to be like LeBron. If you take the Cleveland Browns back to the playoffs, you are going to be the man in Cleveland.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what.
Terry Francona, get out of the way.
No matter what you sign for, Haslam is going to say, I don't want you going anyplace. So let's just ink this extension right now.
And they've still got more draft picks coming from the trades that they made.
Yeah. And they got young players. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a hell of a job. And they turned in a decent workman-like year this year. Yeah, there's good stuff
Speaking of
coming.
which, the New England Patriots have some picks. Pats have a first-round pick. They have 2 seconds. They have Chicago's second. They've got a third, I think a fourth, 2 fifths, I think, and 3 sevenths, which Bill loves those 7th round picks.
Oh, God. He
loves those
the
7th
lower
round
they are
picks.
because he can outsmart people. That's the whole thing he lives for.
They usually make the team.
Tracking expatriates.
Yes.
Brandon Cooks finished the season with 80 catches for 1,204 yards, a career high, and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He had 65 catches in 1,082 and 7 touchdowns a year ago for the Patriots. So Cooks was, this guy says, Cooks was decent in New England, but credit the Rams for finding better ways to use him. I think Cooks was more than decent.
Yeah, yeah. I don't object to them not signing him because his market was $16 million a year, but they didn't replace him.
Well, they got a number 1.
Yeah, they got a number 1 pick for him, which was fine, but they didn't replace him on the roster.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think they had this idea that Dorsett may move up or something.
But again, when you talk about the draft, the other kid that they passed on was Ridley.
Yeah.
The Alabama wide receiver.
Yeah.
Who had a decent year. He didn't have a spectacular year, but he's an NFL receiver. No question about it.
Dolphins wide receiver Danny Amendola
Yeah.
finished with 59 catches, 575 yards, and 1 touchdown. His best stat was appearing in 15 games and remaining healthy for most of the season. Well, they didn't have much of an offense and much of a quarterback, and so it was this guy and then that guy. And
so here's the thing. The Patriots have 3 third-round picks because they have 2 compensatory picks. So would you trade a third round to get Amendola back? Because
absolutely.
He's being paid more than you were willing to pay, but a lot of that signing bonus, which will stay with the Dolphins, so you only get his base salary. His base salary, I guess, is maybe $4 million or something. You mentioned earlier Stephen Ross saying they got to rebuild the team.
Yeah.
You got a 31-year-old receiver with a hot girlfriend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I'm sure Stephen Ross is going to say, what the hell did he do for us during the year? Out.
You already paid the bonus money anyway, so that's done.
Yeah.
So would you take a third-round pick from the Patriots and go get him back?
In fact, you know what? I think I'd start with a 5th.
Yeah, I would start with a 5th too.
Yeah.
And, it's a win-win, right?
absolutely.
Amendola got his money, he got the signing bonus. You get him at a level that you're comfortable with, fitting into your cap.
And we get a heck of a receiver in the red zone.
And you bring in a guy who,
he steps in and he's immediately functional.
So I would like to float that as a draft day trade for the Patriots. Reacquire Danny Amendola. I might go as high as a 3rd, but a 3rd is high.
That's high, very high.
So a 5th would be good.
Beautiful.
I'd do a 5th.
Maybe even a 4th.
I might even do a 4th.
Maybe.
How about a 4th, and then maybe we get Bill another 7th coming back.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. That'll make him happy. Titans cornerback Malcolm Butler. Opposing quarterbacks compiled a 95 passing rating when targeting Butler. 48 completions on 80 attempts. The 6 touchdowns that he allowed tied for the 3rd most among all NFL defenders. Butler was demoted to the number 3 cornerback role until Logan Ryan broke his leg. Butler's $2,019 salary is fully guaranteed, so he almost certainly will be back in Tennessee. But the Titans may have some buyer's remorse.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
2-minute warning.
Do you know?
So, it's interesting. We just talked about they didn't replace Cooks. They did replace Malcolm Butler. This kid they got...
Jackson.
Yeah. He's a player.
He's a nice-looking player.
Yeah. Now, he was undrafted.
Here's another one.
Undrafted rookie, just like Malcolm. He's the new Malcolm Butler.
He gets these.
So you know what? They didn't overpay Malcolm. They let him go. even though I wasn't happy about it. They
know.
did it,
Yeah.
but they replaced him.
But the next one is really something, too. Dion Lewis
Yeah.
finished with 507 rushing yards and 400 receiving yards. Lewis averaged 3.3 per carry, sixth lowest among all qualifying running backs.
Yeah.
Lewis, in the final game, didn't get a carry and had 3 catches for 23 yards. They signed him for $6 million this year, but a $4.3 non-guaranteed million next year. Lewis might not be back. He's gone.
He could get cut.
And the Giants' Nate Solder signed a 4-year, $62 million with $35 million fully guaranteed.
Wow.
Yep. Now, this was Ben Volen again. He said, the Giants will, basically, I'm going to surmise.
We replaced him too.
Yeah.
Quite nicely with Trent Brown.
He said, Volen, Solder wasn't the problem in New York, but he was surrounded by inept players.
Yeah.
And he didn't stink as bad. He said he watched the films and all that, but he couldn't do the job by himself.
Yeah.
But
it was a bad investment for the Giants, though.
Bad investment.
Yeah.
Oh, bad.
I mean, he's still a decent player, but
Yep.
that team.
And finally, one other thing I wanted to get, I think we get enough moments here. Patriots cornerback Jason McCourty surpassed the 80% snap threshold by a hair, 80.04%, to earn all $1 million in incentives. But Julian Edelman finished short. Lawrence Guy finished short, very short. And James White fell very short of bonuses. So,
as did Tom Brady, to the tune
Yeah.
of $5 million.
yeah. So my point is, who is more valuable? He who plays 75% of the snaps at a high level, or one who plays 82% at a reliable sort of mediocrity?
Right.
Yeah. So this whole damn bonus thing is bogus.
Yeah. Brady's not getting any of his.
No, I bet you he hasn't lost any sleep.
Up to $5 million. Yeah. No, he hasn't.
Well, folks, they're giving us a sign to cut it short. Thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year. And
yes.
we'll have more on the Patriots, I suspect, at the next show.
Yeah, indeed we will.
I think we'll
One way or another.
One way or another what our lads are
One
up
way or
to.
another.
So, with that in mind, have a great 2 weeks until we're back on, and we'll see you then. Take care. Ricky,